We were just talking about interceptions, and we were debating earlier when that guy called. So he's got almost as
giving
many
us a lot of
interceptions as
context.
touchdowns.
Who, by the way, I got an email from Brendan said that same guy called Felger and Maz yesterday with the exact same call and said they were too positive and being cheerleaders, and they just laughed at him.
All right, so
They didn't call him a prick.
They didn't call him an old brick, or as John put it, a condescending ass.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Drake Maye has 8 interceptions, Phil.
Those guys got it down. Go ahead.
Drake Maye has 8 interceptions, Phil, and we were debating how many of those are really his fault.
Good question, Walt.
Thank you.
Yeah, off the top of your head.
No,
listen,
just ballpark
I
it for
think
me.
I think he's responsible for a good number of them. Now, a couple of them have come in desperate situations, right? Like game-ending plays where they're trying to come back.
Pop Douglas doesn't look when the ball is up the field.
Yep.
He runs the wrong route, the miscommunication. That's happened twice.
Yep,
this
that was
season.
the Rams interception. I think both against the Texans were pretty bad, if I remember. That was his first start.
Right.
And I think he probably could have had 2 more, if I'm remembering that game correctly. I might be mixing that one up with Jacksonville, where there was at least one pick that was dropped that game for him.
But I was thinking the 2 that Pop ran the wrong way and didn't look. And those balls were picked off. But the team basically confirmed that Alex Van Pelt told you guys the Tuesday afterwards, no, Pop Douglas should have looked.
That was the Rams one for sure. And then there was the game ender against Tennessee where Kendrick Bourne actually fell down on the route. Right, and I think if you went back and you watched that, if he was able to keep his feet, maybe he holds the safety, he ends up picking it off.
That's 2 or 3 right there.
Yeah, suffice it to say, as rookie quarterbacks go, he hasn't made a bunch of horrible mistakes. He has made them, but as
the Bears interception was a bad one.
Yeah,
Sure.
He's thrown really bad interceptions in non-crunch times, like he has. But he's not Mahomes and he's not Allen. He's not that good yet. There's no question. I never said he was a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that he can make all the throws, and he seems to have poise, and he's certainly not leading them to a Super Bowl this year or next year. But who knows?
No, I think he's had, you could safely argue, in my opinion, the most impressive season of any rookie quarterback, Jayden Daniels included. Now, Jayden Daniels, I would say, has had the best rookie season. But in terms of how impressed I am by their performance based on level of experience coming into the league and what's around these guys and what's around Drake Maye specifically, I would say what he's doing now, to me, has been more impressive than what Jayden Daniels has done this year.
I think that's fair, and Jayden Daniels might be a little banged up, but he has fallen off. It's either the league's figuring him out or he's hurt. It's one of the two. And sometimes he doesn't look that hurt to me. And Caleb Williams, that's a whole disaster in Chicago. So you could look at this season and project into the future and make the argument that Drake Maye will be the best of the 3. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I like all 3 of them, which is pretty unheard of.
How about Bo Nix? Bo Nix has played well too. But again, situation to me matters there.
He's got Sean Payton.
He's got Sean Payton. He's got arguably the best offensive line in football.
Yeah, and it's probably the one I've seen play the least, but recently he's
the numbers stand out.
Yeah,
no, he's been good.
Popping.
He was terrible at the beginning of the year, believe me.
Right.
I think they had negative yards of offense in a game they won in the first half.
He was amazing during the preseason, and then the first 3 weeks of the regular season, he was not good.
Bo Nix, and I have seen him play a bit this year, Bo Nix to me is like a high floor, low ceiling guy. And I think that's exactly what Sean Payton wanted, and I think he saw Sean Payton saw him starting and saw them being a team that could, screw around and make the playoffs if he played well, that he could turn him into that. And he has. And that's a credit to Sean Payton. But Bo Nix, I'm not putting in there. They love Penix. We'll see how he plays. There's a lot of pressure in Atlanta to play him.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. But, I think the top 3 are where the action is. Go ahead.
Patriots have the 4th overall pick in the draft if the season ended now, but they have 2 games coming up against Buffalo, so I think it's not a stretch to say they'll have a top 3 draft pick. As we sit here right now, what should the Patriots' strategy be? A tackle, an edge rusher? Where do you think they should go?
So, for me, if I had my druthers and I was running the Patriots, to me, the sexy answer is actually the right answer in this year's draft, which means if you have the opportunity to draft Travis Hunter, you do it 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, but he's going to go. He's going to
chances
go
are that's
one
not
or
gonna happen.
He's going to go
Well,
one or
that's not gonna
yeah.
happen.
He could fall to 3.
You never know. He could fall to 3 if quarterbacks go 1-2. The Patriots could have the number 1 overall pick, guys. There are people that are breaking down the numbers and the percentages and based on their schedule the last month of the season and the schedules of the other teams ahead of them in the draft right now. There are a lot of places that are actually projecting the Patriots as having the best odds of having the number 1 overall pick.
And you know what?
What are the odds that the Bills have something to play for in that second game?
I don't think it matters.
It's a good question, and it might not matter. It might not matter.
I don't think it matters.
They can play the
I
backups.
mean, they're not playing 22 backups. I mean, all right. And so, but my point is this: even if the Patriots have the number 1 pick, they probably would take Travis Hunter because I'll tell you this:
Will Dion let it happen?
I don't think.
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah. Well, I think that's more of a Sanders thing. I mean, what is he gonna not let Travis Hunt not let
He
a
has
wide
said
receiver?
he was going
no,
to
I
direct
know
both of them.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's different for a quarterback than it is for a cornerback or a wide receiver. Here's why I think if you're at 1, you take Travis Hunter, which I agree with you. Is because I don't think that Las Vegas or New York is going to blow you away with an offer, and you might be better with just the player. This draft sucks, and I don't know if they're going to, because they might just play chicken with you, and they might just go, all right, because are they really going to like Cam Ward that much than Shador Sanders or vice versa? So they might just look at you and go, you're not taking a quarterback, like, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll screw around after that, like, and dare them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't mess around with 1 overall. If I'm at 2 and a team wants to trade up for a quarterback, I might consider
Travis
that because
Hunter-
Travis Hunter might be off the board.
Travis Hunter
and
is
then you're picking
considered-
from the best of the rest.
Travis Hunter is considered an elite prospect. No one else so far in this draft, except for that defensive tackle from Michigan's defensive tackle. Travis Hunter is an elite prospect, according to people who do this, and no one else is. So absolutely, if I'm at 2, I'll trade down. I don't care. There's no one special, apparently, from what's being said.
That is what you hear. And I had Mike Renner, who I think is one of the best draft analysts in the country. He's from CBS. On our Next Pats podcast yesterday, I said, how bad is it really? Because everything you hear, people in the league, media people, is that it's just not a great draft class. And he said, it's really bad, is how he described it. Because there's just not the high-end talent at the premium positions in this year's class the way there usually is at some others. There's some depth at edge rusher. There's not great no-doubter edge rushers in this year's class the way there have been in years previous. I don't even think there's going to be – remember the draft a couple of years ago where Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson went 1-2 because there was really no quarterback talent in that draft? I think that was 2022. I don't think even those types of edge rushers are in this year's draft.
No, those are elite. I mean, those were elite prospects. I mean, those were
Trayvon Walker, if you remember, sort of shot up boards because he had this like alien combine performance that he put together. But there was some questions about he didn't really produce all that much at Georgia.
Right.
He's a freak athlete,
but he was.
But he ends up going 1 overall.
But he was, which was it was Aiden Hutchinson or him, and you. But he was considered an elite prospect for if it was for the right or wrong reasons. it stands that he's that.
I just want a guy that the other teams have to game plan.
Well, I'll tell you this: I'd be glad if I took Aiden Hutchinson at 2. That I'd be glad about. Aiden Hutchinson,
really good.
Is in the conversation for best pass rusher in football. At least statistically, he was with his win rate. He had a game with like 3-4 sacks.
You got to remember too that like free agency is going to happen before the draft. So if they end up somehow getting T. Higgins as a free agent, and say they get Garrett Bowles, who of the aforementioned best offensive line in football in Denver, is maybe their best lineman. He's their left tackle. He's having a good year. He's had sort of an up-and-down career, former first-round pick. If you buy those 2 guys this offseason, now all of a sudden it does free you up to do some things maybe a little bit differently in the draft. Maybe you do trade down, and you want to trade down into the middle of the first round. You want to get a future first-round pick because you hate this draft so much and you think next year's might be a little bit better. Maybe that's a smart thing to do.
Am I a team? If I'm a team, though, am I going to give up a first-rounder in next year to move up in this one?
If you're desperate for a quarterback,
if you're desperate for,
yeah,
but that's dangerous.
Of course it is,
stuff.
but teams do it all the time.
I haven't seen enough of Cam Ward. I've seen a lot of Shador Sanders, and I don't know.
Cam Ward's fine. I mean, you can see he's not elite, but you can see he's good. He's going to be a Heisman Trophy finalist, but I don't know if he's going to carry a franchise for you.
Just a question of what another team might be willing to give up to get one of those guys.
But Hardy said it earlier. You also don't want to be the GM that decided deliberately not to take the quarterback, and then he winds up being good.
But that's different than trading up for him. That's passing on him rather than trading up for him, or not trading up a spot. You know what I'm saying? Or not leapfrogging another team. I mean, if you got the 8th pick in the draft, and you don't trade up to 2 to take Cam Ward, I think you're okay. I mean, I don't think that's a career ender.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think if you're the Patriots, you just have to keep it simple. I called it the other day. It's got to be sort of an Occam's razor offseason. The simplest answer is the right one.
Occam's
right?
razor.
That's that whole principle.
Why don't you watch the movie Contact so you have something to contribute to the show?
The most obvious answer is generally the right
I thought
one.
it was my barber, Occam's razor. He would bring it out. Occam. Oh, so fine. What he would do. Baby.
Abdo in his razor.
There's got to
you
be
love Abdo.
There's got to be a barbershop out there somewhere called Occam's Razor.
Yeah.
Gotta
should be.
That would
Yeah.
be good.
Okay, but
The thinking man's
But
barbershop.
you say the most obvious answer. You and I disagree on
Instead
what
of
the most.
hustlers, there's Plato and
yes.
You and I disagree on what the most obvious answer is. I'll take Will Campbell in his short arms because you need so much help on the offensive line and figure it out.
Yeah, if you can't get Travis Hunter, it's probably Will Campbell.
I wouldn't reach for any particular position. I think you're fine
Well,
taking
Will
anything.
Campbell can't reach for anything. That's part of the problem.
He's
Ooh,
those
alligator arms.
Those
Oh,
arms
boy.
are so small.
He's
You know
got
what, though?
short arms.
It's okay.
I don't like
think
those arms.
the arm length thing I think is actually interesting. I've talked to some people about this. The Indianapolis Colts had two pretty good tackles, both arms shorter than 33 inches. Believe it or not, Hardy.
Oh.
I bet you have something close to 33-inch arms. Yeah,
You want
it's pretty average.
In width.
Pythons.
Would you
Yeah.
measure both my arms and my inseam? And we'll see what the
I
disparity
could
is?
not do that. No.
Why not?
Oh, you can measure
I
an
just don't know
inseam
how.
without getting naughty. Believe me.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.